Rolly and Tank. I know you familiar with these guys since they were young in the Mayweather gym.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the fight?
Oh, it was a real good fight. It was a great fight for the fans. It was some, Rolly made it to where he had people on the edge of their seats, but it was, like I say, going back to it was strategic. Tank knew strategically. I mean, they was standing in the corner. Tank knew, okay, he ain't gonna be able to do this, but for so many rounds, like, yeah, he gonna go bombs away, and he gonna, the first few rounds, but he gonna eventually make a mistake, and I'm gonna catch him. But Rolly did, to me, he kind of overachieved in that fight, even though he got knocked out. I mean, for him to have that little number of fights, I mean,
what did he do to overachieve? What was giving him success in the fight?
Well, one thing about it, his awkwardness, him being awkward like that, throw fighters off. So I think that played into his favor. He was so awkward that Tank wasn't getting that look in sparring, especially with the type of power and strength that Rolly got. So Rolly, he did go in there to fight. Like, I give him that. Like, he talked a lot, but he did. You can't say he ain't back it up because he lost, because his intentions was to go in there and win. Like, he was coming to Tank, and he was, he landed some punches on Tank. He just wasn't experienced enough, and he made rookie mistakes. Like, against a big puncher like that, you don't get greedy. It's a such term as getting greedy. He got greedy in there, and Tank, Tank was like, okay, this dude getting greedy. He seen it. And he capitalized on it, but it was a real good fight.
Because it looked like in the 5th round, Tank's defense turned up, and he started not getting touched like he did in the first 4, and it made Rolly anxious. You know what I mean?
He didn't have the experience,
Right.
He kind of started falling apart. Like, even mentally, it's a such thing in boxing as endurance mentally. Sometimes trying to keep up with a fighter mentally, a tired fighter out just mentally, like, and that start coming into play, like, because he started missing his stuff. Like, you could see Tank kind of playing and having fun, just moving around, getting his groove, getting warm and everything. And as soon as that happened, then you could see him start sitting down a little more and taking them half step backs to get out of the way. Them looping shots, like I say, a lot of them wasn't straight. But with Rolly, that plays in his favor, being that awkward, because you don't know what angle the punch is coming from. So when he was hitting Tank, it was some unorthodox stuff that he was hitting him with. So it wasn't a bad game plan. He fought good, considering his inexperience and his he doesn't have that much experience. So up into the knockout, you could say it was a good fight.
What grade would you give Tank on his performance getting the 6th round knockout?
I get a knockout, A+.
Yeah.
I get a KO, A+.
Right,
he ended.
But overall,
but before that, overall, I'll say a B, because I know he could probably do better than that. Like, he fought a real good fight, but even though styles make fights, I don't try to compare one fight with another. But you got to question, would that be enough to do something with Devin, with Shakur, with Lomachenko? Like, you got to look at it like that. Like, Tank is the kind of fighter that he could adjust well. And people forget how good of a boxer he is, because his knockout punch it overshadows his talent. So people forget that he can move, he got good footwork, he got speed, he throws good combinations, and he's a good thinking fighter, because it takes talent to be able to counter people like that. That's strategic. That's something that you got to set up. So Tank is a smarter fighter than people think.
It was a perfectly placed counter on the back foot, timed.
Oh yeah, but I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I see him. I see Tank. If Tank was a fight at 140, I see him beating Josh Taylor, and I stand on it. I was arguing with people a year ago about this when I think they was going back and forth. I see him winning at 140 as well. But his fights that I want to see him versus Devin Haney. Or at least him versus Lomachenko, and him versus Shakur Stevens. Those type of fights where they're not gonna step into those big punches and fall in, and to where they giving you that uppercut or that big left hand. I want to see him in there with those. But other than that, I mean, Tank is a hell of a fighter. one of my favorite fighters in the game as far as who I'm gonna tune in and watch. Like, you know, I don't watch too many fights. If it's like a fight I know where a fighter's gonna win, I don't even watch it. Or if they don't, you know, but he's one of them guys that's an elite talent.
A lot of fighters and athletes too say that. He's the guy they tune in to watch.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch him. I'm gonna watch Devin. I'm gonna watch Shakur. I'm gonna watch Boots. I'm gonna watch Benavidez. I'm gonna even watch Canelo. I'm gonna watch Bivol now.
Yeah.
You know, Chocolatito. I'm gonna watch the kid. What's his name?
Spence and Crawford.
Bam Rodriguez. Oh,
Bam Rodriguez.
Spence and Crawford. Yeah. Oh, that's to me.
Goes without saying.
Oh, that's the number one fight in boxing. I gotta be honest with you. You know, I can't wait for that one. That's gonna be an amazing fight.
Were you there when Rolly sparred Tank or Devin? Were you there that day in the gym?
No, I wasn't there.
Okay, just curious.
No, I heard about it though. You know. But like I say, I'm sure it went the way that all Devin's sessions go. I mean, it's a different. And when was that?
This probably 2-3 years. Probably about 3 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah, man. Like, and I already know how it probably went. I mean, like it always goes. But like I say now, literally, I haven't seen Devin. I didn't see anybody win a round against him, and this is real talk. Like this ain't no me gassing it up or nothing like that. Like I can't think nobody that beat him in a round, like, you know, even on his worst day.
Well, Mick, because you mentioned the fights you want to see with Tank and Dev would be Shakur and Loma. And Tank, Devin, and Shakur, right? The three great young American fighters we have right now. How do you compare them, and who do you
Boots
think?
In there too.
Yeah, Boots.
Yeah,
we're talking 30 and 35.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah. No. Well, Boots, absolutely.
Sure. Okay.
If we're talking 30 and 35,
okay.
right? Who do you see having the best career? Who's gonna? I think all three are gonna have excellent careers, but
yeah, they all are.
Who's gonna be the best fighter?
You know what I'm gonna say.
Devin. Why?
Yeah,
Why Devin?
But,
Why Devin?
But I'll give you an individual breakdown on all of them just to take the, you know,
to give them all their love.
Yeah, that's
right.
You know, Devin is, you know, that's my guy. So, but Devin, if he keep doing what he doing and living how he's living outside of the ring, that's what's gonna be the main thing. Like, you know, and I could speak on this by myself, still being able to get in there all the years I've been off. I'll be 39 this summer, and I could put a performance way better than I did with Kambosos because of how I live outside of the ring. You know, if Devin keep that up, which I know for a fact he will, he not into those activities. He not trying to be no street dude or none of that. Like, he gonna keep that up, and he gonna keep getting better and better. Mind you, he's still super young. Like, Devin to be able to fight the same way, have a long career as long as he want, he'd be able to fight up into those later years because he's not taking a lot of punishment, and the way that he's living outside of the ring is the number one thing. All of that stuff plays a part. So by him being smart, by him hitting and not getting hit, by him living, being smart outside of the ring, you know, all of those things I think carry him long. Now Tank, I see. To be honest, all of them could go long. At least
make the Hall of Fame.
I mean, they so long, they so young that they can go 15 more years. Devin and Shakur, but Tank could go another 10 or so years. Number one, because nowadays they got more information about the body, which helps. Like, you know, even when I was younger coming up, we didn't even know about. I didn't start really even drinking water until I was like 30. I would drink it in the gym, but you know, now they got the diet plans. You got Snack. Shout out to Snack. You know, they got the right, you know, the know-how and the information and the technology. All that is different. With a guy like Tank, big puncher, slick. I could see him going long, but I don't know quite as long as Shakur and Devin because of their style. You know,
they're a little bigger than him too, aren't they? Devin definitely is 5'9".
Yeah, they both a lot taller.
Yeah.
They taller, but honestly, I see them all going long. But Devin, I could see him going. You know, him and, you know, the way him and Shakur fight is kind of made for a fighter to go into they like soup. You know, like you got Marquez, you got Hopkins who went to 52. You know, I wouldn't even want Devin to fight that. You know, even if he might want to hang it up in 10 years. You know, who knows? But at the same time, there's so much money in this game. They might be inching to becoming a billionaire. So they might say, all right, I want to fight 3 more years to hit that $1 billion market, that 500 whatever kind of mark, you know. So as long as all of them just stay focused out of the ring, there's nothing that can stop fighters with that kind of talent. Just being smart, and not letting the success go to your head to where you change your work ethic, which I'm sure, you know, fighters like that not gonna do that. I mean, we could be seeing these cats for another 15 plus years.
You think we'll definitely get to see them mix it up before it's all said and done?
I hope so.
I mean,
that's one thing I give Devin over all of the young guys so far. The resume that he has, especially now, you can't even debate it. Like, he fighting Cambosis over in his country without his trainers, his family, his dad especially, you know. And you don't even look at him and see no fear in him or none of that. Like, you could look, you don't see him shook or none of that because he was built for it. So he'd fight any of them. Like, literally, he'd fight Tank next. I heard them going back and forth. Believe me, Devin to fight him next after this fight. He wouldn't say, let me get a tune up or get an E.
Homecoming title defense.
He'd fight Tank next. As long as the money is right, believe me, he'd fight him. So
that's the Spence Crawford of 135.
I would put that definitely the second biggest fight in boxing after those two. The only reason I give those two the biggest fight because they've been around longer. So they've been dominant for so long, and they both in a mastery stage of boxing. Like, these dudes are still gonna get better, Tank and Devin, because they so young. But